Hi, everyone. Welcome to All About the Joy. This is Culture and Consequence. You just straightened up so much. I'm Carmen Lisa, your host, and Andrea's in the house. Hey, Andrea.
Hello. I am ready.
Yeah, why do you look so good? What's happening? Like, it's been a minute.
Look, girl.
I cannot help my beauty, okay? Hey, so this is our first episode. We've been kind of talking about this for years, to be doing a show. We had tried to do one a while back. And now that I'm in the mode, and now that it becomes one of the shows that All About the Joy does, I'm just glad that we've decided to do it. So thank you.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. I remember that we did this a few times way back. I think it was even during COVID times. Mm-hmm. And it was fun. We had some good conversations. But like you said, weren't really like in a routine in the mode. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, this show is going to touch on a lot of things that we don't talk about on all the other shows. Maybe a little bit on Carmen Talk when I do my little, I need to vent about something. So I'll do my little kind of impromptu TED Talks. So I'll talk about politics, but we're going to dive into politics and social issues. So culture and consequences, because there are consequences to all of this. And if we can teach something along the way, that may not happen though, folks. It's my intention to want to teach things along the way. And this came up because somebody was spewing lots of crap about redistricting because they didn't understand what actually happens when we redistrict. And so I started to explain it to them, and I was like, you know what? I need to do a show, because I'm tired of people talking bullshittery. So the purpose of the show isn't for us to teach stuff, but it really is to yell at Andrea about how wrong she is about her liberal ass, is really what it is. I'm just kidding. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this besides the fact that you love me and, you know?
Well, mostly because I love you.
Best friends.
Even though you're so mean to me.
I'm mean to everyone. I am, totally.
That's true. I am. True. I'm not special.
Equal opportunity mean person.
No, I'm doing this because I think we have great conversations. And I think before any of this, all along, we've sort of been like, God, we should just record ourselves talking, because it's hilarious for us. Right. And I think I'm just going to put it out there that maybe you've learned a few things from me and I have learned a few things from you. Yes, it's true. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe if there's some learning or even just some inspiration to perhaps go and learn on your own, that would be lovely.
Yeah, it's true that we've learned from each other. I think I admitted recently to you in the past couple years, and I think now I regret admitting it to you, but I have always, so let's just get into it. Like, I've always loved this country. I used to have a flag on my car, a little sticker, like it's no longer there. But I've always, I know it's so weird. Let me just turn this off. I forgot it was on. I've always been very patriotic and loved my country and was very rah, let's see the other side of it. To the extent that when I worked at a major company and was an executive, I would listen to KABC, which at the time, I don't know what it is now, but it would be like Sean Hannity, Larry Elder, what's that other creepy guy?
There are so many to choose
Bill O'Reilly. I used to listen to them in my office, even though I have always been more of a conservative Democrat, but I've always been a Democrat. And I would listen to them because I'd want to listen to what they had to say. And I remember some of our fights would be about me defending it's making me nauseous. Back when America was great, by the way. I'm just kidding. But I had the ability to at least listen to the other side in a way, because at least I thought they weren't so much making sense, but I felt like if I could understand where they were coming from, it would make me a better person. But that has completely changed now, 100%. And I see what you were saying about this country that I would not believe. Oh God. Well, now you better explain what we're talking about. Like your thoughts on the United States of America.
Oh God. Okay. I'm just gonna preface this by saying that you know, I was born in another country. It was on an army base, but like I came to the United States kind of aware of what it was like to be in other places, right? And that other places were great and lovely and had some wonderful things about them, right? I was very young, you know, and I don't know why. I've told you this before, but, you know, I just sort of always had an interest in politics. I just always did. I don't know why. We moved back to the United States the day Nixon resigned. Just FYI. And my mom always joked, like, you know, oh, it was safe to come back now, right? Yeah, so we thought. And back, you know, when I was young, I used to watch the State of the Union every year. This was in the Reagan years. I watched every single State of the Union. Every single one. And always thought, this lying motherfucker.
So trickle down theory didn't work for you then.
Yeah, I don't know. And I was young, right?
You were really young. You had to be.
Years, and I just always was like, no. Like what I was seeing, I lived in, I would say like a lower middle class neighborhood, very diverse. And just, you know, came from, I wouldn't say my family was immigrants, but, you know, they were Mexican. And so just what I saw and what I felt did not match up with what I was hearing. And I was always a pretty observant kid. So all of that to preface that, and I was a big reader. I was very into history. I just always felt like I had a more realistic view of the United States, I guess, is the way that I always thought of it. It was like, I don't have rose-colored glasses on. I would never, ever say, this is the greatest country in the world. I want to be clear. She has never said that. I just also want to say that people, I'm sure, just heard that you are Mexican. People are going to be a little confused, and you should not be. It means you know nothing about the diaspora of the Latino community. But go ahead. I love that you threw that in there. I love it. Yeah, the actual makeup of a lot of people in this country, right? In the United States. So yeah, I just, you know, never really got that feeling of American exceptionalism. And like I said, I read a lot. So, you know, I understood many of the things that we did in Latin America and, you know, around the world and continue, you know, I mean, this was in the 80s that I was, you know, like Iran-Contra, like, hello, people, you know what I mean? You know, Oliver North and all of that, right? Who is now, I guess, you know, back in the fold.
Whatever.
You know what I mean? So I just had what I think is, I guess, maybe like a different level of awareness for a person my age. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. Like I think you said it perfectly well. And like every time you're saying something, I'm holding back so that you can, because I think the flip side of it for me was I didn't know anything about Reagan. I grew up the way I grew up, which was without parents basically, and at the age of 12. And so I was in survival mode on a day-to-day. And I would also say in my neighborhood, I don't remember politics being the thing we discussed. Like I don't ever remember politics being something that was important, or I didn't know anything about it. And I'll say this, even as a kid, I don't think I would have known who the president of the United States was, whereas I know my godchildren knew when they were 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just, it wasn't part of my everyday makeup. So, and the other part of it was, I think for me, there's the overarching umbrella of hope.
and possibility, which is why people come to this country. This idea that you can come to this country and have nothing and have a decent life, right? That whole kind of, I mean, now I can look back and be like, okay, all that was what it was. More story, especially if you were a woman or a person of color or LGBTQ or whatever we want to, go down that kind of discussion. But I think for me, the United States was always something about the possibility of hope. And I don't think that's still not true. I mean, I think it's disparaging and horrible, the situation we're in now, but the idea of possibility still exists of who we can be. But I think I didn't know enough about the history of our country, especially as a Black Latina woman, but definitely as a Black woman. Did not understand how much this country lied about our history and continues to lie about it, which I don't understand why we don't embrace our actual history and actually become a great country because of it or in spite of it, but.
Yeah. I mean, look, there is a lot of opportunity here. There's no doubt about it, right? Like, in my own family, living proof of like, you can come to this country and you can make a great life for yourself, right? And there are millions of people who have done that over, the last couple of 100 years, right? But there are issues, right? There are problems. There are things that we have not dealt with, that we deny, that we cover up. And I completely agree with you to actually look at those things honestly and be able to say, yeah, hey, we did this. It's terrible that we did this. Here's what we learned. And now we're going to move forward. That's something that we have really not done in any large scale way that would be so beneficial. I mean, that's how people grow. Everybody knows that's how people grow, right? Right. You own up to your mistakes, you take responsibility, and you do better. We all know that.
I don't know why it's so hard. I mean, I do know why, right? Racism, sexism, homophobia. I mean, we can go down the list.
When I think about us talking about politics over the last 20 whatever years, I'm always like, because they're racist, because it's racist, because racism.
Yeah. Like, Andrea has always been that person. And I'm always like, but what? Yeah. I think it's also been hard to want to believe that. Like, as a person of color, it's hard to keep thinking that we're still here. I'm sure as a white person as well, it's like, why are we still having the same conversation that Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, and we can go back, just why are we still having the same conversation? And now it's even worse. I mean,
yeah, we're reverting, right? We're going backwards.
Yeah.
At a fast clip. Yeah, it's so mind-boggling. Right? Like, what are you so afraid of?
This is what we're going to discuss and fix about our country in our podcast, right? That's what we're here to do. We're going to figure out what's wrong with this mofo country and fix it now. All right. Well, let's talk about someone who's trying to do something a little bit different. Your favorite person and governor, because this is where we have had arguments about Governor Gavin Newsom.
I just want to say that I have been mentally prepping for this conversation for 3 weeks. I'm like, no. I've got my arguments all laid out. Okay, I've got my evidence over here.
I know. I'm just saying there was a moment where you relented as well. And this is where we learn from each other. But you can give us your feelings on Governor Gavin Newsom, and then I will rebut it and put you back on track.
As you know,
yes,
I have never trusted him fully, right? I'm like, I don't know. I'm waiting for the other shoe. I'm waiting. And then I was like, okay, he's fine. And then it finally dropped, and I was like, I fucking knew it, you piece of shit.
Right. And it dropped, meaning he did that podcast with Charlie Kirk and them. Is that it? Or are we talking about beforehand?
But honestly, before that, if you remember, I can't remember exactly when it was. I should have looked at this because I was truly like, I gotta have receipts.
It's okay.
I think it was California last year. He came down here, and I believe it was in Northridge, and like was all having like a, temper tantrum, and like cleaned up a homeless encampment, and just throwing everybody's stuff away. And I was like, what in the hell does this man think he is doing? And he, like, it looked like a temper tantrum. That's what it looked like to me. And then, of course, when he finally has the chance to, like, say what Gavin wants to say and talk to who Gavin wants to talk to, who is it? Who is it? Who does he platform? Who does he want to be in conversation with? Yeah.
He spoke with Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon. Yeah.
And has now gone on other right-wing podcasts, and, has gone maybe, too far with the rights of some other human beings, apparently. Like,
with the rights? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about trans rights. Now, I will say, the man knows how to fight. He's a little asshole, and, love that.
He's our asshole.
He's our asshole, you know what I mean? Unless you're, homeless or trans, but you know what I mean? He knows how to fight. And, I like that he's doing that. My great hope for what he's doing is that other Democratic leaders see that and see the attention that he's getting, and, start to do their own version of that, which frankly is what everyone should have been doing all along. From the moment that dude came down the elevator, that's what everybody should, Republicans and Democrats, should have been doing this all along. So, my hope is that someone who maybe with a little less, I don't know, whatever.
I love Gavin Newsom. I hate it. So I have the opposite thing. I've always respected him, always loved him. I do think part of why you hate him, we've had this conversation, is he is so soap opera good looking. Like, he just has that slick. You called him slick so many times, and
I called him
in our conversation
slick, and he's got that smile with the little
little sparkle. Yeah. And I've never really looked at that so much. I mean, I do think he's good looking, but I've always kind of thought that works for him. It's not his fault he's good looking or whatever. I actually, and I think this is when you relented a little bit, because I think there's a part of him that does come across as, I don't know why I'm going to say this because it's so old fashioned, but too big for his britches or whatever. Like, he just comes across as like smarmy, and I get it. I get why people can see that. But I have always thought of him when he was mayor, and the whole gay rights thing. And he was one of the first people. And at the end of the day, I don't care what he looks like or what he comes across as. He did the right thing without hesitation. There was no like, equivocation or thinking about it. And I love Barack Obama, but he was like, he equivocated. It's like, so I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it too is because I know, and I think I told you this, especially when I found out about it, that he's dyslexic, which I think is something that he doesn't use that as a thing to make himself be relatable. And I think somebody should have told him to do that a long time ago, but he didn't. And he also grew up with foster care kids because his mom, when they were divorced, when his mom and dad got divorced, in order for his mom to make more money, she had foster kids come into the house, and he still calls one of them his brothers, and he's Black. And so I feel like he has this well-rounded kind of upbringing. And yes, there's the part where on his father's side, he grew up with the Getty family, right? So he has this duality of growing up extremely kind of, I don't want to say extremely poor, but they were hardworking and they had a terrible divorce thing. And then he has the Getty family, who were kind of like his mentors and whatever. Benefactors. But you know what? I wish some of the rich people I knew in my life would be benefactors.
Yeah.
That's how I relate to him a little bit more, is like I'm going to be mad at him because people helped him. So I think somebody said this the other day, so I can't even take credit for this. I think as Democrats, whether it's your kind of Democrat, which is like left leaning to the other extreme, I'm not, I'm still more to the middle, and I'm not a Democrat anymore. I became an independent after the Joe Biden debacle, which we'll talk about some other time, but I still will always be on the Democratic bandwagon. There's not a question about that. But we keep wanting the perfect candidate. I think this is what I get annoyed at with the we have so many boxes that need to be checked, and the candidate needs to be absolutely perfect. Do I think Gavin Newsom sucks at the homeless issue? Yes, I do. I think he's horrible. Do I think he's tried? Okay, I don't know, as much as any other politician has, and he's been horrible at it. But do we throw him completely out? And which candidate is perfect? Which one? And I think that's what bothers me about the Gavin Newsom isms, you know? And yeah, he's fighting now and we need somebody to fight. But even before that, I was a champion of Gavin Newsom. The Charlie Kirk thing and the fucking Steve Bannon, I was pissed. I text you. I'm like, I'm done. I'm now done. I hear you. You were right. I was pissed. And now he's actually using that. And that's strategy. Like now he's using that as a way to get, I know it's politics. And now he's using that to swarm his way into that avenue of Christianity. Okay. That's my argument.
Okay. I hear you. And you know who I am. Like my vote, we discussed this many, many times, right?
Yes.
Yes. I vote with my heart in the primary and my head in the general. So, you know, we are 3 years away, and that is like 17 lifetimes. So who even knows, you know?
I'm not worried about that.
You know what I mean? But I just feel like, why on earth would you move to the right? Those people are not going to vote for you. They are not.
Yeah,
Gavin is a San Francisco liberal. Like you've got a whole chunk of people who are never going to vote for a Democrat, and then you've got some people who are maybe like, they are not going to vote for Gavin Newsom.
He is that's not why he did it.
A Kamala Harris, San Francisco liberal. Why would you go to the right and turn your back on the people who have supported you for your entire political career?
The fact that you're making me defend him is pissing me off, but I'm going to defend him. He was just on Pivot, the podcast with Karen Swisher, because the other guy is out or whatever. So he was just on there and I was just listening to him. And I don't think I was pissed when he did it. And I'm still angry about it. But what I am going to say is that now he's using it as a talking point. And so strategy-wise, this is why you and I could never be politicians, because we're too authentically like, no, we must be good and do what we have to do and be conscious about it. But he's now on that podcast and in other interviews, he's like, we have to talk to the other side. That's why I spoke to the other side, because we have to be able to communicate. And I'm like, whoa, like that's why he did it, so that he could say he is trying to talk to the other side. He doesn't expect them to vote for him. He's being.
Okay, so meanwhile, he's lost votes on the left. So
he has not lost votes.
This is not a winner.
He's got it back. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Like votes. First of all, you just said we have like 3 years before we have to start, or whatever, 2 years before we have to start. I do think he's thinking about the presidency. I'm not crazy about that. That we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But
you've been thinking about the presidency for 10 years.
And yet he would have always, this is where you and I have fights. And yet when Joe Biden got out of the race and people were clamoring for him to run, he did the right thing and said, I'm not running. I am voting for Kamala Harris. And that's where I will give him integrity. I'm sorry?
He's a party man.
He is a party man, but he's also a good man, which I know you and I have. I can see your face.
Beg to differ.
Politician. Okay, who would be a good politician to you? Who's a good man? A good woman?
Okay, well, let me start by saying I don't know if I believe that there are any good politicians.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Well, I can't help. And you asked me to run for office. Remember, we had this real. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not fair. I think there are good people who want to do the right thing.
No, there are. I'm being, yes, that I was being facetious, but
okay.
I think it's really hard to be a good person and a politician at the same time. I do believe that. I think that's a very difficult, line to walk.
I don't believe that's true. That's you and I don't believe that's true. You're pessimistic. I'm optimistic on this.
Yeah. And I also, as you know, like, I don't idolize or like hero, and I'm not saying you do, but I know some people do, hero worship any of these people at all.
I love Gavin Newsom.
You know what I mean? Like, people,
well, that's what's happening with Trump.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, people make it their whole personality, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel that way about even Obama, right? Like, I was like, this is just a man. He's not going to be able to do all of the things you think you want him to do. Let's all calm down. Is there someone right now I can point to and be like, that's someone I would want to run? I honestly, no.
Not about running, but I mean, you said you can't be good person and a politician. I think of Jasmine Crockett. I think these are good people trying to do the right thing. Will they get swept up in the bullshittery eventually? Probably, because it's the nature of politics. That's not excusing it.
Yeah, no, I don't, like I said, I was being a little bit facetious. Like, I don't think they're not good people. I do think it's difficult though, right? You need money. That's the way that it is. We
want to thank the Supreme Court for making that even a more important situation.
And so that's, I believe, what makes it so hard to be true to your values and all of those things, is like, at some point you're either going to get a bunch of money. You have to be like, this super charismatic, like AOC type of person who can get donations from literally all over the world and build a war chest, or you've got to go out and seek it from donors, in which case you're beholden to them. And you know what I mean? It's just very challenging.
But isn't that why we need to make sure that we vote? Because what made it worse was the Supreme Court basically saying that corporations are people and have the same right. And so, I mean, I agree with you on that, but that's not about Gavin Newsom or AOC or Barack Obama. That's about how we've allowed our institutions to be okay with money being the way in which we determine who our candidates and governors and whatever are.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to this idea of the perfect candidate, right? Like, yes, I believe you're right. Like, Democrats are often looking for checks every single one of my boxes. And if this, box 73A isn't checked, then you're out, right? Like, that's a little ridiculous.
And if you're a woman, completely out. Well, that's right at the top of the list.
We're not even talking about that anymore.
Sorry.
You know what I mean? But like, that's, I think, a more difficult thing to do because of the money, right? Because of the need for the money.
Right.
And if you don't have the money, you can't get in front of people. You don't have the machine that it takes to, become a name and become known and get your message out there and all of those kinds of things. It's just, it's a hot mess.
We are on the same page on that. I think for me, I always believe in the best in people. I know this drives you up a wall. Like, I still have faith in the American people. Even the ones, I know.
Are you kidding
me? What? What did you just say?
I said, are you kidding me?
I do. I have to. Well, what's the point then? Why not just move to another country right now? Why not just go?
I mean, I would if I could.
You know what's so funny? I know you would. That's what kills me. I don't know.
I will say, like, I I generally believe that most people are good. I do. I really do. I do.
Yeah, right. Unless they're Republican. Unless they're Republican.
Most people aren't Republican.
I know. Most people think they're Republican, but they're not.
The more you know.
Right. The more you know. And then we'll get into all that. Right.
Yeah. Right. But I do believe that there's possibly multiple generations of, what is it, deprogramming that needs to be done in this country in order for us to, in order for me to believe that, the American people want what's best. I don't know.
I didn't say that, right? I just want
to you didn't. That's not exactly what you said.
I know. I said I have faith in the American people. Because I don't know how else to function, especially as a Black Latina woman, except to hope that there are more people who understand and believe what we believe fundamentally than not. Do I think we lack a lot of education in this country? For sure. For sure, especially when it comes to politics. And I think if there's anything that has been revealed during this time of Trumpism, is that so many people do not know what they're talking about, are getting misinformation from people who are pretending to know what they're talking about because they're making money off of them. And maybe this is where we live. I don't know. Maybe
this is the vast right-wing conspiracy to throw us back. This is the multi-decade. I harangue about this all the time, and my kids are like, "Oh my God, shut up!" This is the multi-decade Republican project to gut public education. We are reaping the rewards, if you will, of that project, which has been extraordinarily successful.
Extraordinarily successful.
That, honestly, like you said,
credit to the Heritage Foundation, right? Let's give a shout out to the Heritage Foundation who did Project 25 or whatever it is.
Yes.
And have been working on gutting
Newt Gingrich and Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
And, you did it.
Destroying our country. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you. And Clarence Thomas. Shout out to you, boo. Scalia. Woo. Yeah. See, at the end of the day, we really do believe kind of the same things. like it's so funny. Like we have this kind of arguments back and forth, but when it comes right down to it, we actually do. And this is the thing that I know is going to kill you a little bit. I actually believe most people in the United States are more to the middle than not. It's kind of that idea that most people think they're Republican and they're not.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that, like I said, the vast majority of people in this country are not Republican. They're not. And they don't believe what the stated beliefs of the Republican Party are. I just don't believe it.
The biggest one being government staying out of my business. I don't know how, that's like, isn't that like the first commandment of the Republican Party? Like, you know what I mean? Like just stay out of, but we'll have to get back to that because
that's right. I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Right.
Those are the scariest words in the English language.
Right. You're so funny. This is going to be fun. Going to be fun. Thank you for doing it. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. And that was not what I thought we were going to talk about, but it was kind of sort of. And
this is what we do. This is like a phone call that we have.
I know. I thought it would be harder, but I think it's going to work. So yeah. Hey, everyone. We'll be back next week on All About the Joy, Culture, and Consequences with Carmen and Andrea. And until then, remember, it really is all about the joy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.